What's your name, though, you said?
Kepler.
Kepler?
Kepler.
Kepler or Kep?
Kepler.
Oh, Kepler. And where you from? You from
From Brooklyn originally. My parents originally.
all right. So what brought you to
the school? I just always like, I mean, I've heard about the, you know, I didn't really know what the teaching is and stuff, but so I was just curious, you know, just to find out.
So what you heard so far?
Nothing like, I can't say like anything like what's it about, but I can say it's like, I know some like I've heard terminology used and like I heard the name and like the person who founded it, it's like 13. I heard his name multiple times. And it's heard like terminology like gods and earths and stuff like that. And it seems like it's something like big hip hop head. So like, you know, a lot of times I you know, conversation like
Right, and music.
yeah, especially like the era of hip hop.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Reference to one of the being part of the so
But you don't know nothing in particular about what we teach and all that. You see? So what you like right now, you Christian? Like what was your background before?
I'm not, I didn't go to religious. Oh, I can't say that like that. I've heard like down with the South and stuff like that. But I didn't necessarily operate a lot of pop sending, like I'm familiar with the concept of knowledge itself to a degree. But like I mean my parents are more like spiritual and like I say definitely like my mom raised me about this like around this I grew up around very like Afrocentric, you know, community in a sense, like so Kemet and like just some like history as Black people I'm aware of. You know, I've done some reading and stuff on different things in terms of Black history and stuff like that. So I'm aware of some of that stuff.
So what you know about Black history, what you've been studying with that so far?
I mean, I know I'm familiar with Kemet because like growing up, I mean that's my name is Kemet is Eden. That's what they call it. And so I'm familiar with like the what the meaning of it and a lot of other concepts of like I know they want to focus on life and a lot of it.
No, he did right. The powerful. The class. Good.
You know, just coming from like this, a lot of the ideology and like how they live their life was based on like studying life and like and adopting some of the stuff that they saw in like nature and stuff like that. Um, like for example, like how they had um like deities that had like the heads of certain different animals. It was like a lot of times that had to do with like certain attributes that that animals had like in nature. Whether it's like a lion, a mother lion. I think if I'm not, I might be a little off with some of the stuff, but like I think they use sometimes the female lion on the head of a human body just like as a representation of like that ferociousness and that motherly quality. Some of the stuff that other things I was feeling was just like the different deities like Anubis and Ma'at, 42 moon lords of Ma'at. I looked it over, I don't remember that stuff by heart. So it's like certain things I like if we use a book, if you should start teaching certain things and like I'll be able to be like, recognize some of the stuff. But like with Kemetic culture, like a lot of that stuff, like I recognize just because my mom studied that stuff when I was growing up and stuff.
And so out of that study, how much of that have you been able to draw into your everyday life?
I mean, some of the principles like you are what you eat and stuff like that, as far as health and things of that nature, like I live like a balanced kind of lifestyle for the most part. And in that way I just I mind myself and like govern my own self in terms of like for my health to like my mood and how I carry myself, So I think a lot of the stuff that I have learned is stuff that like, I don't think about it on a daily basis. Like I learned it and at that point in time, the stuff that resonated, I just kept in I was like, okay, this makes sense. And like, because a lot of the stuff I find like, you can add, sometimes you might add terminologies to certain things, but it's like, you'll find some of the same principles in like different cultures, but it's like a principle, in terms of a way to like live your life. And, that's what I found a lot with that's other cultures that have similar, will have some certain similar, principles. And like for me, I just kind of, just in terms of life, I try to be as moral as possible in my life and like try try and just grow and develop myself, what I'm saying, and yeah, do my best in that. So I mean, I definitely have a knowledge of who I am as a Black man, and
Who's that?
I mean,
You said you know who you are as a Black man. I'm saying who's that?
Who I am?
Yeah.
I would just say like just I'm a young Black man. I understand my heritage. Like my father's comes from Jamaica and whatnot, and my mom's African American and Asian. So understand. Aware like just like have to struggle in terms of just like my family's strive to try to like make a better life for themselves. Knowing some of the history of like just being a Black man in America, like what some of the stuff that's going down from the civil rights era, like some of the different movements, different organizations that's happened during the different periods of time. Black Panthers, Move, You know, was I can't think of all right now, but I've seen just how those the experience that us as Black people and as a collective of Black people have experienced, like how that experience, how that affects all of us as a whole, and me individually, feeling the effects of that, where it's like, I know I don't have, no, there's no generational wealth in my family. There's some Black people who have been fortunate and their family has built us on, but like for me specifically as a reality, I know that's not my reality. Like just knowing that and seeing like I recognize the amount of work I have to put into like try to change my situation, yeah, just I'm pretty realistic in about my situation, like where I kind of stand in the mix of things.
Well, these is the things that the knowledge is about. You know what I'm saying? This right here is about, the realization of the fullest potential of who the Black man and the Black woman is. You know what I'm saying? And the supreme mathematics is a system for reaching that full potential and putting it in the kinetic. You see what I'm saying? So like you were saying just now, when you was talking about the different things like Move or the Panthers or whatever, those is, they're not religious beliefs. You know what I'm saying? But those is beliefs that's being put into action. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, what we teach is that the Black man is God, the Black woman is the earth. You know what I'm saying? So the potential is pretty great that we come into the realization of. You know what I'm saying? But just in terms of a couple of, and that's why I asked you how do you how have you been able to put whatever you've been studying into activation on a day-to-day? You see what I'm saying? Because what happens is, every day you having different trials and tribulations. So like, for instance, you were speaking on, the history of original people, and the different trials and tribulations that we've been through in, the different forms of colonization, slavery, et cetera, right? And, when we look at those times, we can, the history is known of how relief came to us, whatever relief has come to us. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you was able to name groups like the Panthers or whatever that, they put things into activation, right, that still exists right now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when you go to school and you get the school breakfast there, that's from the Panthers.
So they wasn't doing that before?
No, they wasn't doing that before. So when the Panthers instituted that, that was something that they seen was a need. He should be back to close it in a minute. You know what I'm saying? When you see the different things that they put into activation, because at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, for the whole day, when we say the Black man is God, right? We talk about, what's going to be the ultimate cause, whether it's the ultimate cause of all existence, whether it's the ultimate cause of why the sun rises, or whether it's the ultimate cause of you being successful or not successful, right? That The only thing that's causing all that to happen, the only thing that's having an impact on that is you and the people that you choose to come together with, you know what I'm saying, and y'all developing whatever it is that y'all developing, you know what I'm saying? So, when we look at the history, like you said, of, all the things that's happened to the original people, right? I'm talking about in that add up to the current kind of geopolitical situation that we in, right? None of those belief systems, none of those guys that was at the top of those belief systems provided any relief. The only thing that ever really happened was, we did some things, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was, you know, brothers that simply resisted, brothers that fought back, whether it was, whatever freedom fighters that we had since we've been over here, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's the brothers and sisters that engaged in the civil rights movement, whatever the salvation that came to us, because that's one of the ultimate parts of the religious story, is that you came from this heaven, and that eventually you're going back there, and that in the middle of the time, right, in between that time, you need to live out whatever's the values that the religion that's teaching you, that whatever's they value, you got to live that out in order to make it. You see what I'm saying? But you got to look at, when you're looking at these things, right, what you got to look at, right, is where was you in that story the whole time? So powerful. Close the door for me, please. You got to look at where you was at in that story the entire time. Because wherever you at in that story, that's what that religion is providing you with. Like, that's what it's providing you with the means to do. Peace. That's what it's providing you with the means to do. So if you looking at a story, right, and in this story, you are a slave. You know what I mean? You're a cursed person, right? Then the rest of the story is about you being a cursed person. You know what I'm saying? The idea that at the end you're going to end up being, you know what I'm saying, you're going to end up with the salvation is it's kind of far-fetched, to say the least. It's kind of far-fetched, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? So this is why, as the 5%, one of the things we've done is we've rejected the religious doctrines that was, pretty much introduced to us during slavery. You know what I'm saying? During, it was a part of the oppression, and it could be used that way because in that story, that's who we are. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell a story where, like you said, when you were saying in Egypt, if you see in the people and they're being expressed as lions, they're being expressed as people, with power, then it's going to be difficult for you to enslave that group of people. You understand what I'm saying? If that's how they see themselves. You see, because once you see yourself a certain way, right, that you're gonna whatever you do is
You told me to come back here. I want to speak to Devon and find out what hospital Jamal Laws is because they're calling and they ain't getting no answer.
He's in Lincoln.
What's his government name?
I don't know.
So nobody can tell me. Oh, and I don't even know if they allow visitors. How long you been in there? I've been trying to call for about 2 weeks.
He been there about a week.
You've been there about a week. Nobody don't know his government name. All right, peace.
You know, but once you know who you are, right? Then you're gonna know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, if you getting ready to get in the car, right? About to take a trip somewhere, right? What seat you gonna sit in?
The driver's seat.
Yeah, but see, you gotta see yourself as a driver. You see what I'm saying? If you don't think you're driving, you're not going in the driver's seat. You see what I'm saying? That's something that you gotta know about yourself before it tells you, what it is that you're doing. You know, if you go to a basketball game, right? You go to the Knicks game, right? How you know whether you should put on a Knicks uniform or whether you should wear your regular clothes?
I mean, based off of like, you know that like you've done what you gotta do and you part of the organization or not.
Right. You got to know if you're a player or a fan. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with being the original man over here in the wilderness of North America, right? If you don't know who that is, right, then you can easily get caught up in all types of ideas and behavior that is, not really natural to us. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when you look, right now, you see like a mix, where you see some people that's too forgiving. You understand what I'm saying? Because they've been introduced to that through Christianity. And then you see some people that's, they're very unforgiving. They all about retaliation. And they, believe it or not, got that from religion too. You see what I'm saying? But that's how, and that's with anything, I'm speaking on a little more universal terminology, but in everything that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? If you walk outside right now, right, and you don't know who you are and you don't keep a focus on why you went outside in the first place, right, you get caught up in other people's activity. See, that's why, what we deal with is, whatever we put in the aggravation is sort of a determined idea, right? Now, determined by who? See, there's some things that people do where this idea is determined by the other people that's introducing you to this. You see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, let's say if you go outside, right? With your friends, you were a little kid or whatever, and y'all play whatever game it is y'all play, right? Y'all got to make up that game from your imagination. Y'all got to, y'all not thinking about it like that, but see, y'all got to put your heads together and make all the decisions from who's picking the teams to who's going to play to what the rules is going to be, all of this got to come from y'all, right? But see, when you play a video game, all of the possibilities have been imagined by the people that made that game. You understand what I'm saying? And so your ability to have that type of creativity, right, to make that's just a game. But you're beginning to develop skills at that point, right? You're gonna go on to use those skills for the rest of your life. So once they already start to make your power, which is your potential, you know what I'm saying? Once they start to cause some of your potential to atrophy, right? Because you're not using it. You know what I mean? So like for instance, you say, your mother introduced you to a lot of things. You probably did a lot of reading, you know what I'm saying, when you was growing up. You can see the difference from reading a book, right? Where you got to use your imagination, right? About everything that's there. Like when you visualizing whatever the book is describing to you, you got to see that picture with your own brain. You understand what I'm saying? When it says that this person yelled at that person, you got to see the picture, you know what I mean? And hear that. That's all within your imagination. You know what I mean? But if you see the movie, you don't got to do that. You see what I'm saying? The picture is already there. And now the picture becomes how the people that made that movie, however the director saw it. You understand what I mean? Like you might see a movie that they remade. You know what I'm talking about? Like a movie. So when you see the movie the second time, the second director, because he got a little bit different vision, right? The parts that he chooses to emphasize, right? And the parts that, he might leave totally out, right? Can be different. But now that gives the people who's watching it a different perception. You see what I'm saying? So these are the things that we deal with, which is for me, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, going back to the beginning, the issue was that kids in general, Black kids in the inner city was being left behind when it came to the realization of who he was and having a way to reach that fullest potential. You see what I'm saying? So this is what Allah, this is why he introduced this nation and this kind of knowledge to us. You see what I'm saying? So, this is what we do. This is why, you see, like you said, you seen the influence that we had on hip hop because, hip hop is a way, it's a way to, you can reach your potential. You know what I'm saying? It's a way that people can, use their creative power to manifest something better their situation or just, just the expression of the art itself. And so it was something that fit in perfectly with a lot of 5%. So you see that we had an influence on that. That's not the only factor. But these is the things that we started to be shown because the inner cities, it had already started to become an environment where there was just a lot more negativity that you could be introduced to than positivity. You know what I'm saying? The indoctrination was able to go to another level, right? Because just like you see, how the level of indoctrination, right? One of the things that brought it about is from people being separated. When you separate the young from the old, the male from the female, et cetera, right? Now everybody is open to indoctrination because you don't really know what the story is. You see what I'm saying? You don't know what your history is, what your what the culture of your family is. You know what I mean? The things that y'all do and the way y'all live. Now it's a little bit different. The mechanism, the way it happens. But once you get these young kids, right, that's in the inner city, right, and they're now losing touch with the culture of the family. So now you're getting caught up in the ideas of the inner city. You see what I'm saying? And, of course, I ain't got to tell you that's a system where, basically, at that point, how they say the person goes into the belly of the beast. Once you get caught up in the ideas, right, and the value systems of just the inner city, right, you've just passed the teeth. You gotta, in order to get to the belly of the beast, you gotta be digested first. You gotta be chewed up, by the elements, really at the end of the day, the elements of genocide, because, this stuff is designed to take you out, whether it's fast or slow. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's at the end of the day, there's no, there's no plan for you. You know what I'm saying? Meaning from the very beginning, right? The idea was to work those slaves to death. Like there was no idea that, all right, we're going to work them for a certain period of time and then we're going to look out for them. Or, this other thing. Nah, they fully intended for you to just die after you finish. You see what I'm saying? So, that was a little bit right there. You got any questions about what we went over so far?
No questions like that. Could I reiterate just to see if I'm on track with what you've gone so far?
Reiterate.
So one of the things I got was like you saying like one of the things that like there's a principle you practice is just like developing your full potential. An example of that is like the creativity, and there's a form of that would be like the hip hop is something that I mentioned is like you was mentioning like that's one of the reasons why that's kind of been that was like a good platform for that. Just like it's a way of how people express themselves and it allowed for like opportunity and things to like to come about that allow people to get to I guess those like higher levels in their life and stuff. So.
Yeah, but see that's like that's in the entertainment. That's something that sometimes I use an example that you can relate to. You know what I mean? But see that scales all the way up to the whole level of building a civilization. You know what I'm saying? So when you see a civilization, right? Let's say we're dealing with Egypt because you're familiar with that, right? That creative power is also about how do we build the pyramids? Like how do we solve all of the problems, right? Like right now they sit around and think, okay, how they build the pyramids? Well, how did they cut the stones? How did they get them from there to there? All of these things, having to figure that out, right? Is through the development of the creative power that you have. You see what I mean? So all the other problems that it is, right? Meaning, like I was saying with the inner city, you go outside, right? And there's all these things that's already put in our face. You know what I'm saying? So say, you a young kid, you go outside and you want to solve the problem of poverty. You understand what I mean? Now, to just get involved with what everybody else is doing, you understand what I'm saying? To start selling drugs, that doesn't take any creative power from you. You understand what I'm saying? See, all of that is a part of dumbing down your creative power. Is that the way you go about solving your problems is not creative. You know, it's actually somebody else's plan. And you got a little bit of choices and decisions within that person's plan, but ultimately, that was somebody else's plan. See, that's what ultimately happens, because everything that we're dealing with, it's an accumulation, it's a building block of the things that's gonna be the reality in the future. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why they start so early, right? At dumbing down the creative power of children. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I know how it is. End of the day. You know what I'm saying? But that's the science that we deal with as the 5%. That's at the root of it, is developing young men and women, developing young men and women into assets, right? Instead of liabilities to themselves, to themselves, to their family, to their community. You know what I'm saying? Because, a lot of times when we look, there's situations that we're born into, you know what I'm saying? But, a lot of times when we look at some of the death, hell, and destruction that we've been through, right? I'm talking about on the individual level, we see that we played a part in that. You understand what I'm saying? It's one of the things where you got to realize that the blame, when you say take responsibility for an issue, right, is really two ways to do that. See, there's taking responsibility for being the cause of why it happened. And then there's taking responsibilities for coming up with a solution. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, right now, right, if we go outside on the corner and we see a lion running down the street. Now, if we see a lion running down the street, that means somebody somewhere messed up. Because it ain't lions, it's not lions, it's not they're not indigenous to New York. Not in the last couple thousand years. So somebody at the zoo, they did something you're supposed to do, you didn't do, now this lion is running down the street. Now we can sit there, right, and try to figure out who's to blame for this. Who's responsible for this lion running down the street? The problem with that is the lion is going to run up and eat you. See, that person is responsible for the lion getting out, but who's responsible for you getting out the way of the lion? You see what I'm saying? And so, this is the power that, this is what we've been empowered with through having this knowledge, right? And, being able to look at situations and analyze them, from the standpoint of having knowledge of self so that we can know how to be successful in all these different circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like what you were saying in terms of the generational wealth, even having knowledge of that's not a term that was being used. That's something I started hearing in the last maybe 5 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could have been being used and maybe I just was out of the loop on that. But see, even having that type of knowledge, how many people realize that that's what you're trying to do, that you're a person that's building generational wealth. So if you don't know that, what you doing? You going out and you spending the building blocks of that generational wealth. Meaning, person buy a pair of Jordans, it's not really, if you pass that $300 down, it's not like the next generation is not going to have to work or something. You understand what I'm saying? But it's what that little bit of investment continues to do. You see what I'm saying? So, right now, like for instance, the stuff we're talking about when you deal with the home ownership and how that was something that was controlled, in terms of who got to become a homeowner and who didn't get to become a homeowner. Uh, a lot of especially when you go back into the history of how a lot of people became homeowners with the federal loans, right? A lot of those people, man, those houses that they bought them for 20,000, 10,000. You know what I'm saying? But the wealth that they eventually was able to parlay that into, you understand what I'm saying? That counts for something. You know what I'm saying? The fact that, if you came here as a European immigrant, yeah, you was making pennies, but you got to save those pennies. And then with those pennies, you was able to do things for your kids that was able to make them be more successful. You know what I'm saying? This is not, if we don't have that type of knowledge, right, then we not passing that type of knowledge on to the kids. You see what I'm saying? If we have a slave mentality, right, that, listen, we've got to just do this right here, activate within the system, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what it says in the Bible, then this is the knowledge that we passing on to our children. You see what I'm saying? So you see situations in our community where it actually works the opposite way, where, maybe 2 generations ago, people in the family was homeowners. But now they not, because they didn't pass on the knowledge of ownership, because they really didn't understand, that this is now something that you got to pass on. It's something that you got to transfer, the way knowledge is transferred from generation to generation and place to place when you start dealing with a civilization or a culture. Good.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I eat too much. I don't know too.
Mm-hmm.
Something I know that's been sticking out to me since you was talking about certain things. Like I'm not gonna lie, I just bought me a game system today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually on break from school, spring break right now from school, but like, sometimes on my free time, I'm either watching TV, sometimes I watch listen to some people talk on YouTube. I can't lie, I don't really read that much. I don't really read. I mean, I do intake information, but like usually it's from like a podcast. When I'm listening to somebody talk on certain things. The Breakfast Club usually has actually a lot of good reviews and whatnot, and that other stuff as well. But actively reading, I can't say I read so many books, but like, sometimes it's just like I'll be bored and like, um, I'll watch films and stuff and whatnot. But and recently I got a game system just to like, help me, I guess, only pastime I'll keep me entertained or certain things like that. Because you know, I mean, ultimately, I have a goal of why, like, as far as why I'm going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had this is my first time going to school. I'm like 29 now, so I never did go to college. I graduated high school, but you know, um, so like, I mean, other than that, like, that's kind of like what I've been spending my free time as a late, but like, and there's other stuff I do, like, I like to exercise and I like to dance, and there's other things where like just I do use that as a means of like entertainment, and like something that kind of like stuck out to me from what you were saying is like how some of these different things they create your it kind of dulls your creative process or your creativity in a sense, because it's like something that's created for you, like, and when you play a video game, there's options, but you're given a set of options, so it's like, you're making a choice, but you're making a choice based on what is being put for you to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you're given options. You're being given something.
Yeah, I mean,
From from like what's in just your head.
mm-hmm.
So
That's one of the issues of being in the wilderness of North America. You know what I'm saying? Is that that's just kind of this is we on a turf. You know what I'm saying? So they making the rules. And these things play all the way out to where, like, when you dealt with the presidential election, it was the same way. You know what I'm saying? Where you got a choice between, you could pick this 80-year-old white guy or you could pick that 80-year-old white guy. You understand what I'm saying? So it's one of them things where, when you're doing things, right, you got to be fully aware. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of them situations, like I was saying with the internet, right? The internet is something that, either you use the internet or the internet uses you. You understand what I'm saying? So, it's the same thing with, all the different experiences that you have. And just like right now, you going to college, right? Now, if you don't go there, like, you got people go there just hang out. They don't really get the knowledge. They don't really gain the credentials that they need. So in that instance, right, the college used you. Whether they got the money through the student loans, whether it was grants, whether you paid the tuition straight up, they used you. All the people there, yeah, we got paid. People in the cafeteria, we got paid. And you didn't get nothing out of the deal. You understand what I'm saying? Or you can go there and use the college. Either way, they're going to get this.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But that's been, the issue in America is that everybody's getting theirs except us.
I was thinking just like when I brought up what I was bringing up, I didn't give a question, but like the question that I guess I have for you is just like, how do you feel about like, those sorts of entertainment? I mean, as far as like, movies, I don't necessarily look down on that, but like even like the idea of like playing a video game and stuff like that as a source of entertainment, do you feel like that's not really a good thing to kind of?
I mean, it's nice. It's just something that you got to realize what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, realize that it's just like I said. Let's say with the political situation, right? Where it's the same situation where you got X amount of options, but they being decided for you, right? It's one of them things where it's like, okay, let's say you say this guy is better than that guy, right? Okay, but you still got to know who he is. That doesn't mean he's a good guy just because he's better than that guy. You understand what I mean? And so as long as you're conscious about that, the way you engaging with this person
it's not
is,
like you take it they say as like, oh, that's fact, as opposed to like, you know,
Right.
you're aware that like you're still in a situation. It's like it's not like this is just like, oh, this is just this great situation because like just the history and system of how things run just don't disappear.
Yeah, right. You understand what I'm saying? And so you just hit it on the head. That yeah, you could play that video game, but you know, realize that this is a small compartment of a person's imagination that came up with this game.
Yeah, I mean, like when I intake things, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy things, and I don't necessarily think it's a nefarious intent with like things or everything that's put out. Some things there might be a level of that in it, and some things you may not be totally aware of. I think that's sometimes where just like a certain level of knowledge, and when we talk about knowledge itself, you can be able to identify certain things that to some people who don't have that level of knowledge, stuff might be like covert to them, or like it's hidden because they don't have certain like knowledge and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like you know, I like I do like I mean, but I get what you're saying when it's like having awareness. It's like because when I play the games, it's like I play with the intent of just like sometimes like there's a level. All right, some people smoke weed, right? Some people drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people certain have vices, right? Me personally, I don't smoke marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say, like recently, every now and then I'll try to drink it, but just it's not like on some like oh, because I just never was my mother and my father don't drink. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes I'll try it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Weed, I don't really try anything like that just because it's like I never really like the effect it has on me. But you know, I mean with video games, it's like in a way it's a form of like because it's like a lot of times you dealing with the pressures of life and certain things, even with the school thing, it's a whole process. It can be trying and stuff. So it's like the game is a time to like kind of like decompress and like kind of like you know, I guess blow off steam or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even sometimes where like, let's say there's like, you know, sometimes when you just be quiet and like this, sometimes it's your mind is like, there's so many things going on. Like when you just sit in somebody's like, you can just be stressed out like this or that, or like there's so much to think about. Like there's a time to kind of like just, you know, not have to do things. It's not like I'm escaping, but it's just like it's like, you know.
Well, in terms of things being, you know, entertaining, you know what I'm saying? In terms of, you know, wearing shiny things and all this type of, you know, just nothing, yeah, that's things that we've done for, you know, thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? It's not that in and of itself. It's that, you know, you still caught up in the system where the trade that you're making, the exchange that you're making, right, is still a battle. You see what I mean? So it's one of the things where, you know, like on the slave plantation where, you know, you had certain slaves that was convinced that, you know, master is taking care of us though. Like, yeah, we going through hell, but not yeah, but look what you're doing for that. You know,
I mean, if you talking on a bigger level, like
nah, I'm saying that it's a, but see, this is what I'm saying though, because you said one thing that I would suggest that you consider that maybe it is nefarious. Is it may not be nefarious on this type of religious level that this type of religious level that people talk, you know, the Baphomet and all this type of stuff. I really don't know what all that stuff is about. But sometimes it's nefarious from a corporate level. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, you will see sometimes you go into the, you know, you go into the files of different companies, right? for instance, a company might get a lawsuit against them for something, right? And when you go into the files of that company, you will see that they always knew that that was a byproduct of their good or their service that they sell. You know what I'm saying? Like the people, for instance, you a little bit younger, but they had at one time cigarette companies. They had a class action suit against them, you know, saying that, you know, look, your product causes cancer. You know what I'm saying? And for years, they was denying it. But then once all this paperwork got subpoenaed in the lawsuit, it turned out they knew the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Or there was a case one time where there was some tires. I think it was, well, let me not throw no company under the bus that maybe it's not them, but it was some tires that was like exploding or something, right? No, it was a car. It was a car that the gas tank kept exploding or something, right? And when they went into the files of the company, they found that the company knew that that was going to happen. They knew there was a defect with the car where a certain monitor was going to explode, right? But what they did was they calculated it and they said, okay, because of the defect, we predict this many tanks is going to explode, right? And because of that, we predict these many people is going to get died or is going to get injured or die, right? And so then they calculated that, okay, if that many people die, right, or get injured, this is the money that we're going to have to pay out in the lawsuits. And then they looked at the number where it said, okay, this is how much, I'm just, for example, they said, look, if we pay the lawsuits, we're going to have to pay out $100 million, right? But to fix the problem, we're going to have to pay $150 million. So instead of fixing the problem, we just paid $100 million when it comes. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of these people, you know, these game makers and everything, you know, there's all types of psychology that's been involved. You understand what I mean? Just like right now, you know, when you get a video game, they got 50 years of video game history. You understand what I mean? That they're putting particular things in the games, right, to draw people up, to make people get enough hit off of this game, right? Enough dopamine hits or whatever it is, the kick that you get out of it, whether it's the game, whether it's the internet, whatever it is, that is distracting you long enough for them to do whatever it is else that they got to do. You know what I'm saying? The amount of, you know, even if you're just talking about, listen, we need this game, right, to keep you distracted. We need this game to hold your attention because we're doing other marketing in the game. Like we're selling Nike sneakers, we're selling all this other stuff. So in order for us to do that, it's like, yeah, we could do the game in this way and it would be better for, you know, a child's development of his brain. But now we ain't gonna make the same money like that. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of things, just like you know, when you see poor people with credit, you know why they give poor people credit? There's no other way to make money on it. See, if they give out X amount of credit cards, right, to rich people, they all gonna pay their bill at the end of the month. It's not gonna be no interest. See, rich people use the credit cards use poor people. See, rich people, right, if they buy a plane ticket, they buy it with their credit card. And then they build up all them free miles, and then they take some trips for free. So see, for the credit card, the rich person.
But I thought that the idea with credit is like, you know, I'm not talking about the people who can't afford to pay off their bill. I'm just saying, I thought like the whole thing is like, in terms of if you're smart, not what their intentions are with it. If you're smart, is like, you know, because a lot of things you may not have the money right then and you need to pay it outright. but you will have the money if you have a certain amount of time. So it's like, for example, let's say I know one thing I was looking to do at one point in time was buy a car, like recently, but it's like, okay, I could, if I save, I could get that money, but it's like, the reason why I would buy or use credit to do that is because I can use that to make money. And it's like, okay, well, let's say I have a job and I'm able to pay, I know like about how much the bill is gonna be, right? Let's say it's like 500, and I know I can pay that off in addition to whatever, if I have rent and all that stuff, I know in addition to that, I can pay that 500. It's like I use that in order to help me build my credit. So let's say later on I want to be able to get a house. I know I can afford the house outright, but I can pay it off and I don't mind working that off over a period of time.
Now, see, you added a key thing in there, though. See, is you two things you did. First of all, you looked at it from the point of view of the consumer of the credit. See, like I remember, from the very beginning, right? Remember, it's always been a lot of trading involved. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning, it's always been a lot of trading involved in terms of our interaction, right, with Europeans. You understand what I mean? It's always been trading, whether it's they giving out whiskey and guns for slaves, whether they trading trinkets for land, whatever it is, that's always been the issue. You understand what I mean? And so you got to look at the exchange. Now, another thing you added in, you said that, okay, you would use the credit, right, to get something that you can make money with. See, now you start talking about capital, and that changes the picture a little bit from just being a consumer. Changes it a lot, actually. You know what I'm saying? So looking at it from that perspective, right? You're approaching it with the same mindset of the people that have money. And so that's why you'll be UK. Yeah, close the door. You know what I'm saying? You approaching it now from the way they look at it. But this is the thing you got to remember about, because see, here's the thing you left out, right? The interest. The money is only made off of credit, off of the interest. You see what I mean?
No, but like that's the thing. I'm my fault. I didn't mention it, but I know it's just not. You're not just paying. It's not like, oh, you borrowing money up front and then you pay it at all. You doing that plus the interest that's on it.
Right.
So,
and so
I know you end up paying. I know at the end of the day, you're gonna end up paying more than what the thing is worth.
The poor person ends up paying more interest than the rich person. And so that is why they give poor people credit, because that is the real business model.
Mm-hmm. But the thing for me is just like, if it's a resource that allow me to move into
right
another level, it's like,
listen,
it's of course.
See, in our we got lessons, right? We got supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet, and then we got 120 lessons. You know what I'm saying? And one thing it tells us in that, right, is that we the 5% here in America. And so here in America, we gotta it's not ancient Egypt. We can't activate everything the way, those brothers did thousands of years ago. We in a different environment. If it's just the clothes that we wear, it's a different climate. So we have to, we have to wear our clothes differently. So, right here, we in here where, look, we got lemons. So we're gonna have to make lemonade. So I'm not saying not to deal with credit, right? I'm just telling you that you gotta understand that aspect. It's listen, their business model relies on two things. It relies on poor people who will never be able to pay their bills, right? So they always gonna owe them. And it relies on the fact that poor people is honest.
They're what?
Poor people is honest. See, because I mean, you hear people say that all the time. That look, all I got is my balls and my word. You don't hear rich people saying that. Who you ever heard Bill Gates or Warren Buffett? My word. Listen, you better get a contract. You understand what I'm saying? So these is just things where, like I said, it's constant, trading that we doing. Even slavery, right? We just had a very poor, I don't want to say like we negotiated the deal or anything, but I'm saying at the end of the day, we made slavery was just a very unfair exchange. Well, I don't want to say just. I don't want to take all of the, the full effect of what slavery was, but I'm saying, that's just, we dealing with freedom, justice, and equality. That's something where, if you're a slave, clearly you don't have freedom, and you're dealing with injustice and inequality. You know what I'm saying? So all of these different exchanges, whether you, like I said, whether you exchanging your attention, right? You're exchanging your attention with these game makers for some entertainment. You understand what I mean? You got to realize you're making that exchange. You understand what I mean? Like you going to the college, you exchanging with them the money, you know what I'm saying, for the knowledge that you get, and for the credentials for them to give you the paper saying that you qualified for that. You know what I'm saying? Me and you right now, we making an exchange. You see what I mean? This is one of the concepts that we have in our supreme mathematics called equality. You understand what I mean? That we constant, everything, all the atoms around us, they making exchanges. Exchanges of electrons, exchange. You understand what I mean? This is what all these things are. You know what I'm saying? This is the constant flow of fish. They make an exchange with the ocean. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able to evaluate. We got another concept in our supreme alphabet that J is for justice. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that's about is you weighing and judging the benefit of what it is that you're doing and what your interactions are with other people, and who they about. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, especially, because we kind of went into this part of the conversation dealing with something that's economics, right? You got to remember that that's at the root of the relationship. That's at the root of the trade is economics. You understand what I'm saying? We provided them with the labor, you know what I'm saying? And, they ended up with Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos. You see what I'm saying? That's the exchange that was made. So you got to realize that constantly, when we hear in the wilderness of North America, or we were talking about hip hop earlier, and you see how that exchange went down. You know what I'm saying? Where, you got a couple of brothers that made some money. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? But the ultimate exchange that we made, you see what I mean, of the power that they got over the industry, and with that control, they made it just another one of those options.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Where you could listen to it, but now you're listening to something that they've had much more input on the image of it and how it looks.
It's more like manufactured.
Right. And see, that's another thing that I would add on to when you're thinking about whether this stuff is nefarious or not, right? One thing you gotta realize, right, is that there's some things that exist in the Black community, right,
Mhm.
that we see every day, right? That the image for that existed before the reality for it. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning, you know,
Oh, so it was like it was like let's say like a drug game. Somebody, it was something that was put out. Let's say, for example, that was put out in the media or like,
right.
and then like
And-
maybe in
yes.
the exploitation.
Yes.
They was putting out the image of the pimp and all of that, and then people start to through that entertainment. And
right.
that they start to emulate that.
A lot of times, if you walked out on the street, you didn't really see people doing that. Not saying that it didn't exist totally, but they created the image of it.
And it was kind of glorified in a sense.
And then the people saw it and emulated that image. You know what I'm saying? You know, whether it's you know, different images that you know, go all the way back to the beginning of entertainment, to the beginning of you know, music, the beginning of you know, movies and TV, you know, where you know, you constantly had an image being portrayed, right, of Black people in the way that white people saw them. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, you know, it's a complicated mechanism. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, the people absorb that image, right, and you know, begin to glorify it on their own. You see what I'm saying? So right now, like I'll give you a good example, right? You know, in New York, right? Gangs was something that was from like the 50s and the 60s. Like that was something like that was really kind of looked down upon. Like, you know, in the 80s, like, you're in a gang.
You talking about within the Black community?
Yeah. Like that wasn't something that wasn't a New York thing. Like, and that was something that's like that's like old timers. You know what I'm saying? Old
like,
heads.
Like the guys like, yeah, like the guys with the Tommy guns and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, them too, you know, because of the mafia, because the mafia was here, you know what I'm saying? And you know, but just even amongst Black people, that was something, you know, that died out in the 70s. So it wasn't really a part of the culture here. You understand what I'm saying? But through,
so you were saying like what was that, early 70s, early 80s, it wasn't really a thing?
Well, early 70s, but say like by like I mean, I wasn't a part of that, but I'm saying, you know, by like 1975, the gangs is out. You know what I'm saying?
So before that, it wasn't really a thing.
After 1975, it wasn't a thing.
So
it wasn't.
After 1975, it was
Yeah.
Up until like when?
Up until the West Coast hip hop started rising to the top and permeating.
That's what really kind of put it back on the numbers in a way.
At least in terms of New York, I can't, you know, other places.
So you're saying like the West Coast really inspired the East Coast with that?
This modern gang era now, yeah.
when you say modern, like, I mean, you talking about how the Bloods and Crips is a thing over here.
Right. Like, see, in the 50s, those gangs was based on something else. They was based on
that have connects to the Black Panther Party and stuff.
right. Even that's a little bit later. See, a lot of them first gangs is because when people, migrate, you always, anytime you got immigrants, you got gangs. You know what I mean? Because when they get to the new place, they don't know what's going on, and the people is taking advantage of them. You see what I mean? So they got to band together and survive.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So most of the gangs, when you go back in the 50s and the 60s, that's what it's about. Like, people is coming to the north. The kids, I'm saying, the kids are the people that's coming to the north. They got to walk past this gang of white kids to get to school. You know what I'm saying? So, how do they react to it?
Stories about that, like that being part of the thing when girls to protect themselves.
Yeah, that was more about that. It was more about, like you said, self-protection. These kind of, offensive gangs, I mean, where, we're not about protecting the neighborhood. We about, we try to get paid off of these people. This is this is the golden goose right here. You know what I mean? We terrorizing the neighborhood. That really came about, when you started seeing like NWA, Tupac played a huge role in that. Boys in the Hood, you start seeing these types of movies. So, that image got implanted in people's heads.
That's interesting that you said it, because I thought, well, I'm not sure about NWA, but I thought part of it was like, I'm not saying it was, I thought part of it that was also people say about it is like a narrative that's said about it is like how Tupac kind of, there was almost like duality, like there was the kind of negative side, but there was also like a level of like kind of consciousness and like trying to do positive things. I'm not sure if it's the same thing with NWA and stuff too.
But see, NWA and Tupac is really kind of two different eras. You know what I mean? NWA was like at the time when NWA first came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They was looked at as like an ignorant group.
Mm-hmm.
Like they was, stuff they talking, like you gotta remember other people was talking about Farrakhan. You got Public Enemy is out.
Oh, like before that.
Yeah, at that time, but see, right now, if NWA, if you put them out right now, they're a conscious group that's telling you about, and I mean, they was then, but it was just a different way of expressing the consciousness that, look, this is what's going on in the inner city out here. Like we heard that New York stuff, we heard about that, yes, but listen, it's real out here. And they put their, music out and people responded to it. You know what I'm saying? Over time, that I guess you could say the way we responded to that, right? Cause your public enemies to disappear.
It sounds like more so like after the portrayal of like the gang members, it's like when people report, because a lot of people say like a lot of rappers, and it could be seen as a cop, like also like a cop out. Like a lot of times when people like, oh, why are you talking about this and this in your songs? And people be like, oh, I'm not just a reporter.
Right.
But like it's like
yeah,
the thing is like
that's true.
Also, you choose what you report.
It's this though too. It's and people like to try to stop it, but what it is, right? It's a wait, whoa. Who's Candace Gomez?
What's that? Is that Citizens App?
Oh, this is Wordsmith? I get to that in a minute, man.
What was that, Citizen Time?
Nah, this is the class is also broadcast on YouTube. But what were you saying? He threw me off with that comment. What were you saying though?
Wait, are you recording this?
Huh?
You recording this?
Nah, it's going on YouTube.
No, I'm saying you recording our conversation.
Well, nah, it's not recorded. Well, yeah, on YouTube it's recorded.
Oh, this, no, I'm saying this conversation is being recorded right now.
On YouTube. Not like I don't have no files and files.
Oh, so it's right being directly
Yeah,
broadcast.
the civilization class is broadcast.
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what were you saying right before
I
that?
was saying, sorry. Okay, I was talking about, and I was talking about like how it was kind of like a duality with some of those groups and with like Tupac and.
Oh, well, I know I was going to say is that, see, with that, right, it's not one way or the other. It's a cycle. You understand what I mean? Like, yeah, the people who the people who make the movie in the beginning, right? They can say, yeah, well, we didn't make this stuff up. You know, this is, life where we at. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a group of people who come behind them that are influenced by that. It's more a kind of thing where and a lot of things is like that. It can be anything. When you look at the NBA, like at one time in the NBA, nobody really was dunking like that. Like, could you imagine, like, at one time in the NBA, most people just shot their shot, did layups. Nobody was dunking. That was really you had a couple players come in and start introducing it. You know what I'm saying? And then Jordan kind of perfected it as being a part of your game. And it was people before him, Dr. J, etc., but he perfected it. You know what I'm saying? Kobe Bryant was influenced by Michael Jordan. He didn't know Michael Jordan personally. You've seen him on TV. You understand what I mean? So yeah, it's a cycle, between the entertainment and the reality. But I'm saying that when we look at the entertainment and the reality, right? If you pay attention to some of the things that you might have seen, growing up, whether you see it on cartoons or whatever, right? And then you look at the reality of how that thing is permeated now in real life.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's clear that it's a cycle going on.
It's like, and I get what you're saying, where some of that stuff is nefarious, can be definitely nefarious.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we want to put this idea out into the community. We want people to act this way. How do we do that? Okay, we have these forms of entertainment. Okay, so now we're gonna put this in the storyline and we're gonna portray this narrative of how people are, what this group of people are. And then now people are watching that as a form of entertainment. So now they start to act it out. Maybe the kids start acting it out when they're playing and stuff. And then it becomes, incorporated.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the thing, what I'm saying though, is a lot of times, if you trace the cycle back, you'll see that an image was introduced to us, right? That we start living out, right? Before people was acting like that. Yeah, right. You understand what I'm saying? There's, like, for instance, right? See, there's no portrayal in the media of the civil rights era like that. Like, see, they'll show you the 60s, they'll show you the gang era, they'll show you American Hustler, they'll show you Bumpy Johnson, they'll show you Nicky Barnes, all the different, you know what I mean? But how many images are they showing you of, brothers doing, things for freedom, justice, and equality, right? But look, without all the sexy stuff. I mean, like, for instance, they just had the, I don't know if you saw it on, was it on Netflix? What was it? There was a movie that came out recently about Fred Hampton. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's on HBO.
Right. Now look, see, in Fred Hampton, I'm not saying that story shouldn't be told, right? But what I'm saying is that even this image with all the shooting and all of this, see, this makes it a more sexy thing. You're not telling the story of the day Black Panther person that just went and, fed the kids breakfast and helped them with their homework. You understand what I'm saying? That part is not, it's
more about his demise.
Right. The entertainment is not going to be the entertainment value in the way we've been trained to respond to certain things. You know what I'm saying? So like, for instance,
that's something though, like when you talk about that, like, I feel like that's something that has to be developed. It can't be because,
right.
For instance, like, because of how for years and generations we've been indoctrinated and passed those mindsets on, to the generations that are present, is like I don't think most of us have an attention span for some of that stuff.
Right. But see, and this is what I'm saying. This is something that's been done to us, right? Mm-hmm. Starting from those video games. You know what I'm saying? Not saying in particular, I'm saying that starting from that age group when they start, like once upon a time, right? Mm-hmm. Cartoons used to come on from about 6 a.m.
It used to be like a Saturday morning.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But over time, they realized that, we got this treasure trove of children that we can introduce to all this consumer stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we've convinced their parents that if they don't give it for them, it's child abuse. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now we start listening. We Saturday morning.
I remember that, like, I'm not that old, but like, it's like, I do still remember, like, in the 90s, it's like, okay, we got Saturday morning cartoons. Mm-hmm. And then, like, if we did watch something, it was Channel 13.
You see what I'm saying? So as they change the amount of excitement, like, I don't know if you could show little kids like just Sesame Street now, and they be excited. Yeah. See, look, I'm gonna tell you when I first noticed it, right? And we always kind of noticed it. There's a thing, like, if you ever deal with, there's a certain, what they call frames per second. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're looking at a movie, right? You're looking at a series of still pictures. Mm. But what they figured out is that the rate, I think is 15 frames per second, something like that you need to have those pictures to make it appear that it's constant motion. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you look at a very old cartoon, right, you would notice that the people is not really moving. Like, just their mouth is moving. And then in the 80s, they came out with this, what's that? They came out with this cartoon called the Animaniacs. Right. Now, if you notice the Animaniacs, they moving all around, they bouncing, their ears is flapping every second. Mm-hmm. See, that started affecting the kids' brains more. You ever be talking to a little kid that's watching cartoon, and look, you talking to them and they listen to you, but they can't look away from the TV? And they like, yo, you hear me? And they like, yeah. But they can't get away from it. Yeah, that's the way that they're affecting your brain. You see what I'm saying? And so now when you get older, right, and they show you the news, right? Do you notice when you look at Fox News, it's the same way. All of the different images and the way everything is jumping around on the screen, it's the same way, the colors, all of that. Because you've been trained into a certain way for your brain to respond to things. So now we could look. You remember John Singleton?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now you remember he had a movie, Boys in the Hood, right? Yeah. You remember he had a movie, Rosewood?
I was needing to watch that movie. I remember I know a bit about the story though.
And there is the heart of the issue. Is that, see, we went to see Boys in the Hood. See, Boys in the Hood became, a classic. People made records based on it. People, you know what I mean? But Rosewood, on the other hand, right? It wasn't as sexy. That's what I'm saying. You see what I mean? We've been trained to respond to certain things. We've been trained that see, boredom, right, is a state where your creative power has come to a stop. We haven't been, like once upon a time, if you went to your parents and you said you was bored, that's basically what they told you. You need to get your creative power moving. Go somewhere and play. Like I don't have, this is a regular state that happens in the brain because the brain is constantly absorbing everything from the environment. The environment is constantly changing. So the brain is constantly on point, constantly looking for that next motion. You understand what I'm saying? So now you got to produce that motion yourself. You understand what I'm saying? But we've been, indoctrinated into this kind of, that in our reality, this constant level of drama. You know what I'm saying? That we require to be normal. You know what I'm saying? And even when you look at the type of TV, you know what I'm saying? You could tell who they make a show for by looking at the commercials. So you look at the commercials and you see the stuff that they selling to us, and you look at the shows that's attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at the reality, love and hip hop. It's not about hip hop. It's about drama. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Listen, the only thing the most that love and hip hop has had to do with hip hop is Cardi B.
I thought Ghostface was on that show one time for like a hot minute. And then he wasn't on. I don't know.
It's possible. I seen him on another show.
He was on.
I seen him on some kind of like relationship stuff or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These are the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? But and listen, like you might think, well, I wouldn't say it was nefarious. I would say it is. Is that go, you cool brother, I know, you know what I'm saying? But he's one person, in the family, in the neighborhood, in the community. You know what I'm saying? His expression, the way he expressed himself, right? And I'm not singling him out as an individual. I'm saying around the board, this is one of the things that happened, right? Is his expression, that form of expression, that form of expressing yourself in a certain kind of way, right, started to become the dominant expression in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like if you go way back, you had, Will Smith was a rapper. You can clearly see Will Smith's not gangster. He's not, he's not, he wasn't talking about his jewelry and all of that. You see what I'm saying? And so an image was created that this is how the whole community is. It's just like, for instance, as a young person, right? You might be talking to an older person and they like, these young people this and these young people that. Nah, that's not all of them. That's a handful of very vocal people that they putting in the media, and then they make it look like all the young people is like that. You understand what I mean? So now the perception is created before the reality really exists, is what I'm saying. You see what I mean?
To be honest, on the subject of music and hip hop, I can't lie that I do listen to some of the, current stuff. Some of the stuff that's like ignorant, or like it's not really, it's definitely not necessarily, when you look at the deep roots of what's being talked about, it's not necessarily positive. But then, like I would say, for the majority of what I listen to, or majority of what let me not, let me not say that, because there's some people, it's funny, like, my favorites were like my go-tos, and I feel like it's a dying breed, like, it's not too many people who rap to that level, like, Most Def, I definitely love Tribe Called Quest, or just people with like more, it was like what I used to see, like there was more content. Or like the other thing I do like is this just as far as the art form of how people are able to put together words. Um, I respect that. It's some of a lot of people are like they're able to do that and display that pretty well. But like if it was to come down to like people like their content and what they're talking about, I would say probably the most person who I like who's like that is Most Def, because like he's able to
I mean,
talk
it's
about stuff and like also has he's in terms of delivery and craft wise.
yeah. I mean, see, but all of that is a part of the training. So that's what I'm saying. Like right now, people is the people have been made right into one big mass. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, when you got all these different representations out there, right? Then everybody's a little bit different. So I can't put one product out there and make all of them buy it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I can't say, oh, this one person is your leader and y'all all respond to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? See, so just by different things, like for instance, you look at hip hop, right? There used to be a time when you could watch music videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And turn the sound off and know where the rapper was from. Just from the clothes that they was wearing, the cars that they had, et cetera, et cetera. See, now, when you look at hip hop, they all got the same clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They all drive the same cars. They use the same slang. They speak with the same accent. They're in the same gangs.
Everything is starting to blend together.
Right. But so now I can also make you respond as one unit because y'all all on the same thing now. It's not a different group of people over here, over there. Different people got different ideas. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like, let's deal with the civil rights movement, right? You got some people who have economic ideas, economic plans. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, like the Urban League, they was a little more, focused on using economic means to bring about freedom, justice, and equality. You know what I mean? You had Thurgood Marshall, right, who's going about things by legal means. You know what I'm saying? Going to the Supreme Court, trying all these cases. You know what I'm saying? You got people who, they doing the marching. You got different. It's all different things, and when we put all that together, then we could be successful. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got to have a unifying idea. You know what I'm saying? But these is the kind of things, you turn people into one mass, who's all supposed to be activating in one way, and then everybody's not responding. So there's like I said, it might seem like coincidence, you know what I'm saying? But nah, it's not. It's not. There's at the very least, like I said, it's profit to be made, right? Off of having everyone come under one mindset. See, that's the reason for religion. Is that with religion, right? Mm-hmm. I put everybody in the same mindset. Mm-hmm. Everybody think day one is the same day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody think, what a sin is a sin. You understand what I'm saying? As opposed to, if we got all different ideas about things, right? Then how do the people who want to be the rulers, how do they do that?
Take control.
Yeah. So see, that's one of the reasons, that's probably the main reason Christianity came about, is because the Roman Empire got so big, right? that there was no way for them to control them militarily. So they had to.
When you say the Roman Empire, you mean the church?
Well, yeah, the Roman Catholic Church is the Roman Empire, but I'm talking about the Roman Empire that was around.
I mean, I didn't get that distinction that I didn't know that the Roman Empire and the Roman Catholic Church was the same thing. Because when I think of Roman Empire, I think predating Christianity, because doesn't the Roman Empire predate Christianity? But like
the first pope was the emperor of Rome.
But like Zeus and all of that stuff.
No, that's Greek.
That's Greece.
Yeah.
Rome didn't worship deities before like
right.
Christ.
Yeah, they did transfer the same what they call the pantheon of gods from Greece, you know. But what you gotta realize is that at that time, everybody had their own gods. You understand what I'm saying? And so
what do you mean by like an example?
Like say you take the city of Athens, right? Mm-hmm. Athena was the
pantheon.
Right. Athena, right. But see, the pantheon was one of the reasons for the pantheon, is that you have all these different people. Like, you ever notice that you look at all these guys, right? A lot of times they all have the same characteristics.
You talking about rappers?
No, I'm talking about these deities that they talking about from the past. Mm-hmm. Like, when you look at all the different guys, they have the same characteristics. Like, if you look at the guys from Egypt, all the different Amun, Ra, Ta, whatever, a lot of times they got the same characteristics, because those is deities that was being worshipped by a group of people. And then whoever was the conquering people, they included their God in order to control those people, in order to have those people feel like they was a part of the empire now. And so you stop rebelling against the empire. You include their stories in their mythology with your stories and your mythology. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? That's just the way religion works. Like I'm saying, in the modern time, that happened with things like Christmas, right? Where they included some other people's mythology with the Christian mythology.
Who's other mythology?
Actually, when it comes to Christmas, you got about 4 or 5 different people. Like, you have, see, even all these different names for Santa Claus, they represent different stories. Some of them is not all mythology. You know what I'm saying? Like St. Nicholas, right? St. Nicholas Project's right there, St. Nicholas Avenue. St. Nicholas was a guy in Turkey, right? That really went around and gave gifts to all the kids. But he don't got nothing to do with the rest of this, the story of Jesus and all of that. Now, that's the Christian mythology, right? That gets included with this other story that's coming out of Turkey, that gets included with this other story of Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas is from Germany. You understand what I'm saying? And then in America, it gets mixed with the mythology of marketing, you know what I'm saying, and the character that we have right now with Santa Claus and all the different, the sleigh bells and the balls on the Christmas tree and the Christmas tree. These is all different traditions, right? That represent different mythology or, sometimes real history, right? Because you also got the science of the winter solstice in there. So now when all of these people see this story and they recognize their story within that story, right? Then they like, okay, yeah, let's be a part of that. So see, in the Roman Empire, it was the same way, where you had because they're conquering all different people. You know, they're conquering Egypt, they're conquering France, right? So the people in France, they don't believe the same stuff as the people in Egypt. And so now you got problems going on around the empire. How do we fix it? We got to get all of them to have one mind state. First of all, so we can control them. So when we give out an order, they all know to respond the same way. See, like right now, if you take a person, you know, they might come here from China, right? And say, well, look, Confucius says this. All right, well, who the hell is Confucius? See what I'm saying? We got to know who Confucius is. We got to know what Confucius did to actually take his word like it means something. You see what I'm saying? See, when you got one idea or one religion, right? Now, if you say, well, Confucius says this, all right, then we all do that. You see what I mean? They don't want this kind of situation where they say, look, take the vaccine. And some people is like, nah, I ain't taking nothing. You understand me? Yeah. No, we need everybody to believe in this religion, right? Where Fauci is the Pope. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. What is that supposed to mean, by the way?
What you said?
What is that supposed to mean? Like he's the Pope, okay?
I mean, he's the you know, you have, see, the Pope is the, you know, he's the administrator of the religion. And he's the representative of God right here on earth.
Is that really what that's supposed to mean?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, no, I mean, actually, I don't even care if it's disrespect. I mean, that just sounds completely outrageous. That, you know, first off, I never was raised. My mom, you know, raised me not to even believe in no mystery God and in this guy. You know, she told me she never really got with the idea of God, but like, you know, she said, you know, God is within you as you know what I'm saying, like, you know, you're like a representation of that, like God, like force or whatever. And like, but like the fact that people could accept that there's this individual that is, this is the representative of some being, you know, that they've never seen before, and that he speaks for, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, he, like, I don't know what, he tells you what to do, because then like one of the things I've seen is that it's like, when you talk about like how religion has been used for control, it's like, it's literally been like that. It's like, you know, it's like, somebody had said it so well. I forget who it was. I was listening to somebody the other day, and they was talking about just the whole concept of that. And it's like, you know, how can you take, it was like, I think you said something like, how can you take somebody, it's like, who, this is a man, and he's telling you, oh, to do such and such, and he's saying he's getting from this other place. Like that, it's like almost like that's an obvious way of like somebody kind of control, you know. Like somebody wanted to control you, they just be like, okay.
Well, I mean, there's a whole science to that. You know what I mean? You know, when you go into the you know, that's what the Protestant Reformation is about. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, one of the that was one of the things that was happening, was that it was the guy Martin Luther. You ever heard of the Lutherans? Martin Luther was a Catholic priest, right? And you know, he saw that, you know, not only was this story bogus the way you just described it, but you could tell it was bogus because of the things that the Pope was doing. You know what I mean? Because he had this specific position where he's the representative of God right here. he started selling something called tickets to heaven. So what that was is if you was a sinner, right? You were sinning.
What age period was this?
The exact year, this is like was no, that's gotta be like the late 1400s, early 1500s. And so basically, you know, the things that you're saying, that was his first, you know, that's how Christianity kind of splintered, at least in terms of here in the West. There was always different Christian sects, but in terms of right now, the major, probably the most major division that we experience here in what they call Western civilization is between the Catholics and the Protestants. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, in terms of how that relates to us, you know what I mean, is where Protestantism comes into the oppression of Black people. You know what I mean? Because you know, slavery in the beginning is a Catholic thing. Like the original decree that authorized slavery came from the Pope. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, these ideas that started getting introduced by Martin Luther about how, you know, this guy is not really, he doesn't really know God. You know, he doesn't really have all this divine right to rule or, you know, tell us what to do or anything.
He was a Christian or
yeah, he was a Catholic priest.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So his ideas, right, about you know, you're not really divinely you know, you really don't have any divine right to do what you're doing. That idea starts to get extended, like that's the religious world, it starts to get extended into the secular world. And so people start to look at kings and queens like that. You know what I'm saying? And
So
then,
what was his idea? Because just for clarity, was he saying that there's no way that a single person can be the voice of God? Like can be the person, like the single representative of
pretty much,
God?
you know, but the way it's expressed, right,
Yeah.
is that everybody has their own personal relationship with God.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
It's not like someone can't be like, oh, I'm gonna tell you what God says for you.
Right. You're supposed to have your own personal relationship by however you relating with Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, the images start to change around. You know what I'm saying? For instance, you know, Mary is huge in Catholicism. You know, you don't see Mary quite as much in Protestantism. You understand what I'm saying? And
Why is that?
because Jesus is the only answer in Protestantism. You know what I'm saying? And the people in general is supposed to be more mature. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like in Catholicism, you can sin and then go to confession.
Right.
But see, in Protestantism, it's more straight laced. It's more hell and damnation. You know what I'm saying? So that's another difference that you see, right? In Catholicism, right, you rarely see Jesus as a grown man. The dominant representation you see with Jesus is the baby Jesus with Mary. You know what I'm saying? In Catholicism, in Protestantism, if it's not in particular Christmas time, where you telling the story of the birth of Jesus, you really don't see the baby Jesus. You see the Jesus that came with the hell and damnation. You know, the Jesus that was doing his reform thing. You see what I'm saying? So what I was saying, connecting all of that to us, because otherwise it's just a European story of what they did. But like I said, as they started applying the ideas of, we all really supposed to have our own relationship with God, you see this idea is in the Declaration of Independence. You know what I'm saying? Is that we all have inalienable rights from God, meaning you as the king, you don't have the divine right.
You can't give me my right.
That right. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is one of the things that started leading up to the revolutionary period in terms of European history, the American Revolution, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, et cetera, right? And so because this is one of the things that informed the American Revolution, right?
You mean the revolt from America against the British?
Yeah. These same ideas that the Pope is not divinely, doesn't have divine rights, was extended to King George not having divine rights to tell us what to do. We have inalienable rights because of our own relationship with God. You understand what I'm saying?
You say it's in there. We talking about that part that says, we hold these truths. So which part?
Where it says that we have certain inalienable rights. That man was endowed with certain inalienable rights. You know what I'm saying? That's saying that each person is really.
That's the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah.
Constitution, that's something else.
Right. And see, that's the idea behind voting. See, in voting, right, everybody's supposed to be sovereign, but then when you vote, you pass your sovereignty to that person. And so now this is the right by which the person is ruling. Because the people have given him their sovereignty to.
Like now I control your.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And so, these ideas, they got a lot to do. There's other things, this is not the only reason. I wouldn't say it's directly like it's not a what for what, but it's certain things, like for instance, right? One of the reasons that you don't see a big mulatto population in America, at least not historically. You know what I'm saying? One of the main reasons you got the one drop rule. So everybody that's going to be mulatto is going to be considered Black. But you also got the fact that as Protestants, right, they're not supposed to be dealing with the slaves. You understand what I'm saying? And you can't go see the Catholics. They could just go do confession. Like they already, our leader is a dude that's selling tickets to heaven. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to when you look at the Protestant religions, that's when you're talking about the Quakers and the Amish and these type of people where it's like, now we don't sin at all. So what does it look like? We out there, we dealing with these with these slaves, and that they're not even Christian. You see what I'm saying? So
Just the whole, what's it called? It seemed like Christianity. It seemed like the Christianity is more extreme on others. It's like, not to say for me personally, I mean, I don't have no history with it, but I'm saying it's just watching it. It seems like it's just there's different degrees on the spectrum of like that. I'll call it insanity, but like, because it just doesn't really make sense. But like, it's like, because these, you said one people saying like, like this person has divine right. The other people saying like, you know how you describe it, like we don't, the fact that we don't sin at all, which I found that's one of the things where it becomes as a level of perversion that goes on a lot of times in a lot of our religions, and specifically with the cult Christianity, is just because like as human beings, I mean, and this is my observation of just humanity, life is not black and white. You know what I'm saying? You experience certain things and you can't say that there's just one set. I mean, there's a one set way of doing things because, you have different experiences, and as it comes up, we deal with it as such, and I kind of, the situation kind of informs how you make your decisions to an extent. So like, it's like with that it's like when people say like, oh, when you said it's like, oh, we don't sin, it's like when it comes down to like sex and stuff like that, there's certain like, ideologies that they try to push down on people. It's like, it's just not natural.
Well, see,
I'm not sure if I'm mixing the two up.
I see what you're saying. It's
maybe that's Catholicism.
The key thing, it's both of them. The key thing is that religion, to some extent, it requires the control of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It requires once a person really, you go into seeking knowledge, right? Just in general, right? You start questioning things. You know what I'm saying? What's this about? What's that about? Why this? And you start to think about things. It requires just a control of knowledge, and not just knowledge of what you know, but how you think. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like most of the people that I know, you know what I'm saying? I would go out on a limb, right? And say everybody that's been exposed to Christianity, or even, bigger than Christianity, you could probably say all of the Abrahamic religions, right? You hear the story about how God made two people, and then they had two sons, and then one son killed the other son, and then the son that was left went and got married. Now listen, everybody, most of the people that I know, this is your first question right here. Wait a minute.
That's not,
I thought it was two people. You know what I'm saying? How, see, it requires a control of the way you think, not just what you know. Okay, I know that, two people plus two people is four people. 4 people minus one person is 3 people. We still got these 2 people right here. With this third person find the fourth person.
then you can take that to be true, that there's a whole bunch of incest.
You see what I'm saying? So it not only requires you to, suspend what you know, but how you think. How you would, how you analyze.
You gotta sacrifice common sense for all that.
Right. You see what I'm saying? But you got to remember that. Listen, they control education until probably the late 1800s. The Catholic Church controlled education, or the church in general control education. Like a lot of these colleges, they started off religious institutions. You know what I'm saying? Harvard was a religious institution.
Where's Harvard?
Boston. Boston,
Where's that?
Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? So through that, because that was my way out of it, was that I never got into the way of thinking. Like I couldn't, the way of thinking where you can suspend, you can kind of just kind of convince yourself that things that you know to be true is not true. See, I couldn't really get to that level. Like I couldn't.
It's like a lobotomy.
Yeah, and the things, it was like I was prepared to believe in it, right? But I never saw the thing. Like I needed something where it was like, okay, there's all this other stuff, right? That's BS, right? And I know it's BS, right? See, my thing was everybody else believed in Christianity.
So it's like
right. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not understanding why I don't. Yes, I couldn't. So, I'm really trying to get into it so I can kind of comprehend. All right, so I can see. It's like one of the things where, like, imagine we was in the room, right? It was another person, right? So we was all in here, and then the other person says to me, like, yo, you seen it? I was like, yo, that was fly, right? And he was like, wait, what? Like, what happened? I didn't see nothing happen. Yeah, that's how Christianity was for me. You understand what I'm saying? Now, there were certain times, right? Like the first time I went in an airplane, I was expecting to see some angels. I thought it was going to be people that just died, and you was going to see their souls floating up into the clouds.
Based off the
Right. And the stuff that, this was the pictures that we see. God is in the sky, he's in the clouds, and, they give us the coloring book and we color in these pictures. These is the stuff that I'm taking this stuff literally. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, like right now is Easter time. If you look at certain channels or whatever, you're going to see the religious movies. Like, I don't know if y'all, well, nah, you didn't see them because but coming out that Christian background, they got movies like the 10 Commandments.
I seen some of them.
Right.
But
see,
it was a different, it's like.
Now listen, when I started watching those movies with my great grandmother, and I'm like a baby really still, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this stuff and I'm taking it literally. I'm thinking this stuff is real. And so I'm seeing them have a direct experience with God, right? And so I'm waiting, when it's my turn. You see what I'm saying? And so I spent a while where I was trying to figure out, like, all right, what's different about those people in the Bible? I don't get it. Like, why God talks to them and he don't talk to us? You see what I'm saying? So if just one time, if he would have been in the clouds that day, and listen, I'm telling you, I was, even as a little kid, I thought I was being mature about it. I figured, all right, look, God is probably busy. So I might not see God. He might be somewhere doing some miracles, but I expected to at least see some angels playing some harps or something. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, it came to the point where not one thing ever materialized from this Christianity that I could really, you understand what I'm saying? I couldn't comprehend it. So at that point, I stopped going to church. You know what I'm saying? I stopped believing in Christianity. If you would have seen me at that point in time, and you would have asked me about God or religion or whatever, I would have told you that, listen, it's got to be a God, because something can't come from nowhere. All this can't come from nowhere. However, those people over there at the church, they don't know who he is. Like, all that shit they talking about over there don't got nothing to do with whatever is the real. And so that was just, I pretty much was determined to live my, not determined, but, I was cool with living my life with that type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? And, that's into that time period of me having that mindset is when I ran into the 5%. You know what I'm saying? And they was the ones that explained to me that the reason why you can't comprehend that is because they're telling you about something that don't exist. And they causing you to, really miss the realization of your own creative power that exists, within you. You know what I'm saying? That in all reality, there's things out there, right? That is beyond the ability of the physical body. And sometimes we look at those things, right, as evidence that there's some kind of mystery God in the sky. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, if you only look at your physical ability, though, you're going to miss what is the full potential that's in you to be put into kinetic. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning that right now, about taxidermy? You know what taxidermy is? Yeah, taxidermy is like when you see stuffed animals. That's taxidermy.
Or like they take a carcass and
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like dermy, the derm is like skin, epidermis. So when they put the skin like that, Now, like I said with a lion, if somebody put a stuffed lion right there in the corner, we're not going to be scared, because that stuffed animal can never reach the full potential of what a lion is. Can't come over here and eat us. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing with people. You understand what I'm saying? Where if you took a person, right, and you stuffed them and you put them in the corner and you said, okay, that's your grandmother right there. No, it's not. That's her skin right there that you put on a what's her name, but that's not her. Or if you see a person that go crazy, right? What they say when a person go crazy? What happened to them? What happened to the real person that we know as this person? This is someone else. You You understand what I'm saying? Or a person get on a substance where you say, yo, nah, it's not the same, not the same person no more. You see what I'm saying? Because now you start to deal with, the full measure of who you are. You understand what I'm saying? This right here, even right now with the science that they deal with, that even what is in the body, right? When you deal with what is in the body and you deal with the science of DNA, right? In the science of DNA, right? All the people that came before us is recorded. See, they can go on your DNA, right? And tell somebody that lived a couple thousand years ago. So that means every cell that's in your body, right? It contains more than just, some fluid and fats and proteins. You see what I mean? That information, that knowledge that's contained in there, right, is a part of your full potential. The knowledge that contains in there is, this is going to have something to do with if you tall or short or dark or light. You see what I'm saying? And then when you have kids, right, you're going to see that you have kids that have characteristics, right, sometimes that you as an individual don't have, right, but that potential exists inside of you. You see what I'm saying? So, that's just a physical representation of what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day and the whole time in the middle, this is what we deal with in terms of who is the supreme being. You know what I'm saying? And what is our way of expressing that? Meaning that when you deal with religion, right? Yeah, we step out right now. But when you deal with religion, right? And then I'll say this one last thing. See, the people in religion, when they looking for proof of the supreme being, they look for somebody who can break the rules of the universe.
You talking about religion?
Yeah. So see, a religious person will say something to you like, well, if you God, make a butterfly just right here, right now. Yeah, well, that's not where butterflies come from. You understand what I'm saying? And the reality is you just have you have a mythology in your mind that if you ever met God, he would be able to create a butterfly like that. But the reality is you've never seen a butterfly get created like that. So how are you using it as proof of anything? You see what I'm saying? See, with us, with the 5%, when we look for who is the supreme being, we look for who can uphold the laws and principles. See, once you start to do that, once you start to look for who can really uphold the laws, who can really do the saving. See, if you're looking for it in a mysterious way, then you don't look at who's really doing the saving. You don't look at who's really not doing the saving. Meaning, people could tell you all these stories about, these miracles, but the reality is that, say you're talking about Egypt, right? Look, when the Greeks came, when Alexander the Greek came, the Egyptian guys didn't save them. when the Portuguese and the Spanish and all the rest of them came down to West Africa, those, whoever they worshiped there, did not save them. And Jesus ain't saving us over here neither. So see, we looking for the person who can take the responsibility from that point of view. You know, you taking the responsibility, see, for the solutions. See, religious people, they look for who is responsible, who's to blame, who did this. But in a modern life right now, they're not really looking at that for the solutions to their problems. And that's what all of this, whatever we dealing with in life. You know, you come out, you know, when you first born, got an issue. You hungry. When you first born, that's already, you came out with an issue, you hungry. All right, how you gonna solve that? Now, of course, as a baby, you know what I'm saying, your parents are there to solve that for you, but okay, how are they gonna solve that issue of you being hungry? And see, this is what becomes their culture and their way of life, all the things that they do, right, in order for them to survive and for you to survive. So we deal with, you know, a culture that's based on us, you know what I'm saying, and our reality of that situation, as opposed to, you know, dealing with this, yeah, you know, kind of story, you know, of, you know.
Is that part of the reason why, like, I've heard in, like, the terminology, how you guys, like, worship, like, the masculine and feminine attributes as, like, the calling woman, like, feminine first, and then God.
Right. You see what I mean? Because, you know, when we look at the earth and the characteristics of the earth in terms of bringing forth and nurturing life, you understand what I'm saying? You know, that's a role that is synonymous with the Black woman. But yeah, though, you know, you got any other last questions before you be out? We can handle those. And
just curious, this is how do you feel about, like, I guess personally, like, how do you feel about, like, interracial relationships? I mean, does it, like, because I mean, someone can be from a certain background, ethnic background, not necessarily as a you know, their own individual, so identify with the necessarily where they go to, where they come from.
See, his, you know, people, they deal with whatever relationships they deal with, you know, and, you know, we surrounded by people that, you know, they got mixed European ancestry from whatever different points in time. You know, ultimately, you know, the Black man is God. That's what we teach. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, the Black man being God, the Black woman being the earth, right? And we say that they the supreme being, supreme meaning the most high. So that means that you know, the most high endeavor that you could partake in, right, is to bring forth God of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Meaning to you know, complete the Black family of man, woman, and child. Right? So you know, ultimately with an interracial relationship, you know, what you getting is an interracial person. You know what I'm saying? And you know, not a Black person, as the British one-drop rule has told us. You know what I'm saying? Now, you probably asking two questions right there. You know what I mean? In terms of, yes, we teach that the black man is God, the white man is the devil. You know what I'm saying? But we also teach that just like, you know, I had to get a certain level of education, right, to reach my fullest potential as God. They got to get a certain level of education, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, stoop to their lowest level of being the devil. You know what I'm saying? And by the same token, we was also speaking about how through a certain level of education, a certain kind of education, you could even make the black man, you know, do things. I mean, you know, deal with the lowest depths of negativity. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I get that part. I was just curious of how you guys look at people. Like, you know, me personally, I don't necessarily really discriminate when in terms it comes to that. Like, you know, you meet people who are just good people.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've never really been with anyone outside of like that. You know, I think maybe once I did, not even did it. I dealt with a Latino like one time, but like that was even a relationship. It was just like, you know what I'm saying, something that happened. Like, but like, you know, at the same time, it's like when it comes to just interacting and stuff like that, I don't necessarily even close myself off to that because it's like sometimes, you know, as me as an individual, I'm at in life. It's like, you know, when it comes to that, it's like, you know, it's just meeting a person who kind of on the same wavelength.
I mean,
Like,
all those things is look, I tell you something about the history, right? The way it's taught. You know, I guess kind of in you know, that's our tradition. You know what I'm saying? Is that you know, we got the founder of this who was Allah, of course, right? You know, and you know, part of him coming to the realization of his full potential so that he could teach us ours was being in the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And so the Nation of Islam, you know, you got the founders is W.F. Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? Now, W.F. Muhammad was, you know, the tradition that we taught is that he was half white. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, the way that occurred was that his mother, right, was brought amongst the righteous people as a child. So she never got to live out, you know, the type of history that we have, you know, of oppression from white people. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know, you deal with individuals, you know what I'm saying, in the nation. You know, we teach white people, you know what I'm saying? A couple of the first people that was in this was Caucasian people. You know what I'm saying? You know, all of that is reality. You know what I'm saying? Do I know some good white people? Yeah, I know some righteous white people. You know what I'm saying? There's the elephant in the room, right? Is that the black family is the basic building block, you know what I'm saying, of you know, any type of civilization that we're going to build. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can see that just in how much that structure has been attacked. You know what I'm saying? In the midst of all the colonization and everything. You see what I'm saying? And so, you know, ultimately, you know what I'm saying? If you're not bringing about the black family, right? You're not really working to build a civilization of original people. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand that. Like when I'm not even arguing against that. you know, I understand that, you know, just off the fact that, like, you know, I mean, even when I think, like, even when I think about, like, even if if there was somebody I met and I was like, oh, wow, this person's cool, there's a possibility there's something that a relationship going out of that. I find that, you know, me having a certain level of knowledge, like knowing that I'm the original man, like, I know of the fact that, like, you know, all human beings come out of the genome of Black people. Like, researchers found that when they found, like, the oldest, you know, remains, and, you know, just, you know, how knowing history, how even white people came about, you know what I'm saying? They didn't even exist at a point in time. So it's like, you know, knowing that, it's like, if you start talking about that stuff with a white person, no, not every they conscious. There's gonna be some level of internalization with that with them, and it's gonna be like, how do I really, how can we really be one if I hold this that kind of not knowledge? And it's like, you know, how do they fit into that? You know what I'm saying? It's like at a certain point, like it can be a level of conflict, or like just like it's not a one be as smooth as this is a Black person. And if I introduce that to somebody who's like, you know, not a who's ready to give up certain kind of ideologies, who's a Black person, it's like it'll be a smooth fit. You know, it's not really that level of struggle. Certain things don't have to be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, ultimately, like I said, it's one of them situations where, you know, especially, you know, you talking about who you dealing with a relationship, that's an individual kind of thing. So when you're talking about individual person to person, you know, whoever a person decide to deal with, you know, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? But when you're talking about the you know, the universal picture of what's going on, you know, and if you're of the mindset that you know, one of the key elements of you know, us achieving freedom, justice, and equality, and kind of getting out of this oppressive state, if you look at one of the basic keys to that is reconstituting the Black family, then that's a, you know, that's a certain picture, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, just in terms of, you know, individuals, you know, now you get, you know, that's a much more you know, just according to this person's mindset, you know, what it is that, you know, whatever it is that they into. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you know, ultimately, you know, LeBron James, right?
Mhm.
You don't see him, you know, trying to get Tom Brady to play on his team. You great football player, great. Not saying you the best, but I'm winning basketball championships, and you're not gonna help me win a basketball championship. And I tell you, not good. That right, yeah, you Hall of Fame, you Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? But you're not doing what I'm doing. All right, man. So yeah,
even within that, I find that, like, even within Black people, you know, it's hard to find sometimes non-Christian Black folks. I mean, sometimes I find it funny. I think in 2021, who's really Christian at this point? Like, with the amount of information that's available, how can
I mean, believe it or not, it appears to be going pretty strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know, I understand that, but it's just like, when I think about it, I'm like, how can you still be Christian with the level of information that's available? Like, even some of the concepts that we talking about, not even out of just the 5% nation. Like, there's other people who brought forth knowledge that, like, you know, just shows otherwise, you know.
I give you one jewel about that on your way out, is that, see, religion is in people's minds. It's not really in the doctrine. Meaning something real can happen right now, right? That picture could fall off the wall. And see, if we're not religious, then we're gonna go outside and look for who's banging around over there that caused that picture to fall. But see, if we religious, we're gonna say the spirit came in here and knocked that picture off the wall. Did you see that? See, the religion is really in their mind. Just like when it rains, we know where rain, hail, snow, earthquake come from. But to the religious people, that's God crying. You see what I mean? It's not in what they know, it's in their mind.
All right, man.
All right, man. So yeah, on we here on what Mondays at 6, Tuesdays at 7. And then it's
I think he was saying Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. I ain't sure what. Yeah, Thursday at 7.
So Monday at 6.
Monday at 6, Tuesday at 7, Thursday at 7. Saturdays at 1. I'm here.
Mondays at 6. Tuesdays 7. Wednesday 7. How you feel? Do you feel like Hispanics and whatnot are would you qualify them in terms of the black family and stuff like that, or
Well, with what they call Hispanics, that is it's a cultural term. Like Hispanic is something that it can pull people together from, a shared history, the kind of foods they eat and the music they listen to. But it's not really an identity, meaning that when you go into the Hispanic world, right, you go into a Hispanic country, you got some people there that's straight African.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got some people there that's straight European.
Mm-hmm.
You got every mix in between. You got some people there that's straight Indian. They have it mixed with the Europeans or the Africans.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's not really like a personalized identity. It's an identity of a shared culture. Yeah. So with that, what I'm saying is it all depends on the person you're dealing with.
But even with the Caribbean, that's it. When you bring that up, that even with the Caribbean,
yeah,
because like
it's the same thing. Yeah,
Caribbean, it's like my father is Jamaican, but like when you look at the history of the Caribbean, there's like 3 different races. Like you got the Europeans who came and colonized, you got the Indians, and then you got Africans who were brought over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's the same thing with over there. It's just a matter of who you dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, is it like, but being with like a native, like an Indian or whatever, or because technically that what you could say, people who are Hispanic are they're that's where their real descendant come from. Would that be like still dealing with that African?
Nah, not really so much. That's that's
that going against the mission of like reproducing the black family.
They're part of the black family. I mean, depending on what history that you're talking about, meaning that you got black people in America, right? That if you're talking about genetically, yeah, they the same thing. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? But they don't share that cultural identity of being Hispanic. You see what I mean? So basically with us, we take people by their universal, like our descriptions that we have for people is who's the original man and who's the colored man. Like what country you from, what language you speak, all that, you either black or you white. That's how, and that's kind of, some things you gotta look at, like, this has been around since 1964. So some things, see, now you have all these different genders and all these different identities yeah, but now I'm just saying that you got all these different categories, how people is categorized. Right. But in the 60s, when we about to go down south and get beat down with these hoses and get these dogs sicked on us, dude, you either black or you white. We don't hear all that in the middle shit, son.
They don't hear that Indian though?
Dude, you could be Indian, but when we get down here to this bridge and it starts to go down, you better be black or white, man. Whatever side you on, it's going to be clear when them sticks come out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You know, like I said, now we deal with a situation where you got 1,000 different categories, and well, I'm not really on either side. Nah. See, because that's how they see it. You either Christian or you're not, man. Like I said, when the Pope wrote that first decree, that was the decree. Anybody that you find, look, you go to Africa, we talk to some people down there, this is where you're going. When you get there, anybody that's not Christian, you do whatever you want to do to. You see what I'm saying? So listen, dude, you black or you white? Like, yeah, I know you're a good person, all that, but you black or you white? You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing when I deal with people from any group.
I don't know.
All right, no doubt. I'll see you later, man. Whew. Got the brothers in here. Haven't gotten a chance to holler at y'all. What is the deal over here? Oh yeah, what happened? Who is is that person still here? Who is it? Garcia? No, Gomez, right? Peace. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's it. Candace Gomez. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But so yeah, we had a nice conversation with the brother right there. That was the wordsmith? What's going on with the wordsmith? I don't know, he should go on Facebook. This is the wordsmith. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the wordsmith for the last couple of weeks. Who's it? He said that was AGM. Who knows, man? I'm saying if you go on Facebook, he can find I know Wise Age is over there. But what's the deal though, man? We got any we got any questions out there? You got any questions out there this week? Look at my battery. Anyone? Bueller? Who's on vacation? Wise you? Because this has been another session. You know, as I always like to say, is you know, it's rarely questions. It's rarely questions after I build because my wisdom is so pure and my understanding so crystal clear. And my audience is so scholarly. You see where we at? Brilliant elevation. That's a good question. Oh man, I want to say 2001. I think that was like 2001, 2002. You know, it's odd that you mention that too, because well, this YouTube, we had to be on a more a little bit more of an intimate forum to get into that. But yeah, the last couple of days, man, things about that has been manifesting. Who's oh, that's what y'all call the wordsmith now? Y'all call him Agent Smith? Seven nine third. Yeah, I like the new people. 793rd was talking about when you choose your words, that's one of the keys, you know what I'm saying, we went over this before, but for some of the new people that's coming in is that, when you one of the things that will show you that you got a good grasp of this, especially when you're dealing with the lessons, is that when you're able to express it without quoting the degree. Page signs, right? When you're able to, say these things so that any and everybody can understand. You hear? Oh, you on tonight? All right. That's one of the main things you need to do. You want to get this knowledge to a level. You want to get this knowledge to a level, or your understanding of this knowledge, you want to get it to a level where you can explain it to a child. You need to be able to explain it to a 5-year-old. You understand what I'm saying? It's you need to be able to go on every level from highest to lowest. Meaning when you're talking about this knowledge, you should be able to go and talk to a PhD, that got a degree in physics or chemistry or, arithmetic or philosophy or whatever it is, right? And you should be able to manifest the science to them. You should be able to go to somebody with a high school diploma, somebody in high school, and explain it to them. You need to be able to go down to the junior high school and the elementary school and explain it to them. You need to be able to explain to people that, have the knowledge, people that don't have the knowledge, people in NOI, people in the Morris Science, people that's Christian, people that's young, people that's old. These is really all the worlds from highest to lowest. You know what I'm saying? And, when you get, it's easy. Like you come up to me, yo, God, science, this, God, justice, this, that, boom, boom, so you speaking to people who don't even speak the language that you speaking. So always realize that, when you're dealing with the people, when you're dealing with, your family, especially your kids, when you got to explain to them, like they've been in the house with you the whole time. You going through the science, they just kind of know the science. They haven't, it's like when we learn to speak English, we don't really, when you from America, you don't learn to really speak it formally. You kind of just pick it up. And see, that's one of the reasons why we deal with definitions, so that you could really know what you're saying. Because so there's a lot of words that's like, yeah, we use it all the time. But then if somebody asks you, okay, what's the definition of that word? You really don't know. You just know how to use it. This is one of the reasons why we get into the meanings of all this stuff and what does this mean and what does that mean and what's this and what's that. Because see, now, like I said, you got to be able to tell your kids, right? Because they got to go to school, right? And discuss this with people who don't know anything about what they're dealing with. Some things are simple, but the people, they don't know. And when I say the people, I mean including sometimes the person who's saying that, and everything. Like, see, for instance, uh with my daughter, you know what I'm saying? Just one day she was like, yo, the people was asking me why I don't never wear pants. Like, why you always wear why you always wear dresses? And now, don't get me wrong, she knew why, but she didn't know how to explain it to the people in a way, especially because, kids, they not, they don't want to go down the rabbit hole. They got to start explaining this to you, then you ask me another, then we started, look, I'm just trying to play. So it's a simple answer, but you got to be able to give it. So see, that's when I told her, look, if they ask you that again, tell them, because that's your culture. And so you could see the look on her face where she was like, yeah, well, I didn't think of that. Then she just went on about her business, like, yeah, I know what to say now. You solved that issue for me. Now, don't get me wrong, yeah, culture, of course, is, that's one of our, a term in our language and all of that, but it's a common term that everybody go, oh, that's your culture. Oh, I see. Now you could go into the build or destroy degree. You could go into the knowledge culture degree in the 114. Or you could say it in a way where even children can understand. So always, make things simpler. You know what I'm saying? That's I got certain, I wouldn't call them mottos, but what's the term for them? There's certain ideas that kind of give you parameters on how to do things, how to formulate ideas and manifest them. You know what I'm saying? See you came back. You okay? And one of these things that you need to one of these things. Hold on for a second. See, one of these things that we have to, or that I keep in mind always, right, is that when you explaining something, right, it should become more simple, not more complex. Like, a person shouldn't come up to you and ask you, yo, what's that science that y'all dealing with, and leave more confused than before they asked you. Don't get me wrong, they could leave knowing that they got work to do. they could leave knowing that, okay, I got to go do some research now to, show and prove for myself the thing that the brother or the sister told me. But if you explaining something and it's becoming more complicated, right, then we got to go to the art of war. Where it says, if you give out the directives and the directives is not clear, then the fault is yours. But once the directives are clear, then the fault is the student. Now I said that through the art of war, but that same paradigm exists in the lessons. That's what the knowledge born degree is telling you. See, the part that comes from Elijah, that's what's telling you as the teacher that you better be clear about teaching. But then when you look at the Bible verses, it's telling you that the student better be clear on living out the teachings. Catch up here. What is this? Brilliant elevation. He said, although firstborn prince returned to the essence on October 15, 2001, some still remember how deep and how scientific he got once he started building. 5% media. What's 5% media? Talking about that's soon as it's 5% media, right? Studying and teaching deep sciences for nearly 4 decades ensures that Prince perhaps is one of the most influential 5%ers ever, having influenced thousands. Yeah, I'm in my 4th decade. This is I'm like halfway through my 4th decade. Thereabouts. Somewhere thereabouts. But you're right about that. That's something, I tell people, look, it's some things you just gotta look at, I've been doing this a long time. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to just the ideas, in the grasp of things, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been doing this a little minute. Complete God Allah said, I've been keeping it simple since 1993. So yeah, those things, these things, they're not laws. They're not laws, but they little, like I said, keeping things simple and stuff like that. Those are rules. Those are little rules that you can live by. You know what I'm saying? To, give you a clue, in these different situations on how to activate. When you you know, when I was coming into the knowledge, you know, that's, you know, you was given, like, for instance, like I was saying, you know, you got the lessons, right? But then you got, I mean, those was lessons too, you know what I mean? I don't want to say they plus lessons or nothing like that, but you got other lessons, right, on how to do this. You know, other little rules that you need to know to do this thing right. So for instance, you know, you got the paper with all the pork products on it. Actually, the one I got it was like stapled together. It was stuff, you know, at the time I knew about pig meat, but I didn't know about pig ingredients. I mean, well, I knew it was lard. I knew these things existed, but I'm saying, you know, I just never had the opportunity to think about dietary law on that level. So, you know, you get the paper, they tell you, you know, glue got swine in it. Like, what? You know, uh, you know, you got the 7 characteristics of a wise man. You know, these was other things that you got, like, you know, look, this is what you got to study. This is what you got to know. But these are the things right here. This is how you move. This is how you move with what you know. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I always develop some rules like that. Shakima, you know, I was just thinking about you and the brother, man, because the crypto experienced a little dip where I want to buy some stuff right now, but I already know what to buy. I was telling the people that with the crypto right now, you know, it's like when I first got the knowledge, where, like I said, like you get the knowledge, you know, the brothers give you the supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet. So you learn that, you know, but then somebody asks you what's today's mathematics, you're like, wait a minute, well, how you know today's mathematics? All right, well, how you supposed to know it tomorrow? Like somebody got to give you that science too. Like, okay, but how I put all this stuff together? I remember the first time, you know, the first time you hear Dumar Bill. Dumar talking about one topic, take through the whole 120. When I say the whole 120, I mean every degree. You stop off and get a couple jewels from Dumar. You know, I recall one of the things I first was coming to the rally. It was an understanding cipher day. The guy was up in front of the rally building, his brother named Universal. And Universal was in front of the what's the name? So he said that a person who understands the cipher, one who understands the cipher is one who masters civilization. And he broke it down that, you know, master is knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, meaning civilization is knowledge God. And so that knowledge, understanding, knowledge God, when you put that together, you get understanding at a cipher. Now, when he first said that, guy, it was like a bomb went off in my head. Like I had no idea that you could even do that. Like, wait a minute. Do that one more time. Can't figure how you came up with that. They see that's when I started to, oh, I get it now. I see why these brothers understand this like that. So of course, you know me. I had to go freestyle, as was characteristic of the young me. So by the time I got home, I had my own. Where he said, all right, one who understands the cipher is one who masters civilization, right? So, I'm just kidding. I'm just coming, So by the time I got to the crib, I said, one who understands the cipher is somebody whose nation is the 5%. Because nation is knowledge, culture, and who the 5% is knowledge equality. So that was one of the ways how I got my start in, being able to draw things up, especially for myself, and just the ability to use the mathematics to draw, that day right there was very instrumental in my growth and development. But seeing all I could say is, that's the level that I'm at right now with the crypto. Where I got the lessons, I could quote that, but I don't know how to master civilization yet. I look at it, but I can't figure out. Like, all right, what makes this one good and that one bad? That's what I need to understand. Y'all have to come on and y'all got to come on and give us a tutorial. What's this you said? Allah will manifest. Was thinking about all the above being caused by the Son of Man. 1 to 9. 2, knowledge deciphered. I mean, for me, I don't really get a chance to think about stuff like that too much. We should say that. You don't hear that term a whole lot no more. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you wanted to develop your grasp with this knowledge to the point where it was what they call second nature. Which was a term I never really liked. Just like I never really liked the term learn your lessons by heart. But that was the kind of terminologies that they used. But Shakima, what's the new Shakima, you still there? Should I wanted to get some algorithms, but I can't figure it out. What it appears is that you earn interest just for owning the algorithms. But what's bubbling right now? The XRP, it's not on sale yet, is it? I got some XLMs and some, they gave me some Bitcoin. They gave me some Bitcoin and they gave me some other thing too. But what is the item that I need to get right now? Don Bishop said, if, we learn the lesson by second nature, then what's the first nature? Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems that I had with it. Atif said there was a hedge fund cat on another day saying he has Bitcoin in his portfolio 15% as a hedge for the impending market downturn, just as he had gold in 2008 as a hedge for that downturn. So Ripple, I have heard of Ripple. They got it on but do they have Ripple? Is Ripple on is it on Coinbase? Yeah, I don't know too, man. I might have to round up a crew, man. Apple has had my computer like a week. Like this repair that they were supposed to be making is not what it's supposed to be like that. All right. Made a little bit of cake. Balances up. Oh man, it's popping today. Why nobody tell me? No, I don't see it. I ain't got Ripple. I think I got to get another app. Oh, Ripple is being investigated. I better do something, man. You better give my computer back, man, before I have to come down there. I don't, I don't know. I don't know if they're ready for how I'm act. God understanding, that's in Victory Allah. That's from Medina. God understanding. What part of Victory Allah? I don't know. You got to see, man. But hopefully everybody did the each one teach one. Hit the like button for me. Share this out on your other pages, your Facebook, Instagram, text messages. You know what I'm saying? I guess Don Bishop, make sure the wordsmith. Oh, God's cities. All right. Yeah, God's cities. I know a lot of brothers down here, but I don't know that that's where they at. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying is, I know brothers be like, yo, I'm in Victory of Law, right? Like the brothers that's in Richmond, I know who's in Richmond. You know what I'm saying? But other cities where they be like, yo, I'm over here, like, oh, snap, that's where you at. Nah, I ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's like people, it's like that in New York, where I got people, I know they from New York, but I don't know particularly, if they from Medina or the desert. I know the people, I see them around. But yeah, you talking about down there with Supreme Justice and what's the guy too, man? Supreme Mathematics. But yeah, other than that, other than that, like I said, it's been a good class. Tomorrow we'll be tuning back in at 7 o'clock for the civilization class. Any comments, make sure you put those down in the comments section. Any questions that you might think of for us to address in the next session, put those in the comments section as well. And I'm gonna be signing off right now. Peace.